Hey boys, uh, obviously you know it's Dad, but just wanted to tell y'all I love you. Um, Certainly a privilege to be y'all's dad. Hopefully y'all don't have to see this video for a long time, but I just wanted to go over a few things. Just number one, I love being y'all's dad. I had a great time raising you. Uh, Obviously, you know, good, bad, whatever. I hope y'all do better than me. But you know, I mean, if I could do it all over again, I would. I mean, I loved having y'all. Y'all were good kids. I'm proud of both of you. Y'all are good men, and you got good hearts. So just, I wish I would have done better at raising you in church. Uh, Obviously went to church and stuff, but I never was. I wish I would have done better at that. But that's the fun part about life. Y'all get to do what y'all do and, you know, do things the way y'all want to do it. If I could give you any advice, it would be okay, there's a book. It's called Learning to Forgive What You Can't Forget. I would highly recommend. I got it on Audible. I had recommended it to somebody I knew. I was just looking for something for them and read the reviews, had great reviews. Well, God convicted me after I gave it to him or had recommended it, and because I was recommending something that I didn't know. And so I'm like, okay, so I got it and started listening to it, and man, I didn't realize how much I needed the book. And in life, we just really, I mean, what teaches us how to forgive? And it's like, it don't make sense. And I wish I would have had that book a long time ago. I mean, really. Because I could hold on to something forever. I prided myself in it for some reason. I don't know why. It made my life hard. I mean, I screwed myself many a times just to not give in, because I would not give in for nothing. You know, really, forgiving just didn't make sense to me. Um, why should you forgive somebody that did you wrong, or, somebody screwed up? And it's like, it's hard, it's like, the forgiving don't have to make sense. And the book goes over it and it can explain it much better than I can. But I can tell you the side effects of not forgiving, because then you get bitterness and resentment, and, you know, that just keeps building and building, and the weight of it hurts you way worse than it ever hurts the offender. And the book just kind of arms you with tools on how to process. Um, but yes, 100% would recommend it. You know, get it today and start it, and you'll have a much better life by far. But looking back, I was always active with y'all. Y'all know I wasn't around my biological dad much, and I guess it always planted the seed in me. It made me. I always wished I had a dad, and always wanted a dad, and so I used to do stuff with y'all all the time, even at a very young age. And sometimes your mom would be like, "Oh, they're not going to remember this," but that's okay. I remember it, and maybe one day y'all might remember stuff that you forgot. But y'all definitely live more life than a lot of people by far. And I mean, I was constantly taking you to playgrounds, swimming, camping, going to the lake. Taking you hiking, taking you here or there. We've did a gajillion Chuck E. Cheese trips. I mean, y'all have had really an action-packed life. Hopefully y'all are able to stay married. That is one by far, if I had to say, what is my biggest regret? I wish I would have got that right, but I didn't know how to forgive. Okay, so Yeah, that's a big one, because a lot of times unforgiveness affects a lot of other people, and so there's there's no do backs, or go backs. You gotta keep going, and life's kind of like this train that's always moving, and you do the best you can. But when you're holding on to stuff for the unforgiveness, it's mainly affecting your life, and it's stealing and robbing your joy. And so I highly recommend, the forgiveness. But um, yeah, that was the one thing I wish I would have got right. I wish y'all would have had a mom and a daddy. As far as the same house, y'all still got a mom and a daddy, and not knocking that. I'm just saying that's the one thing, if I could do things over, I would have done. But as far as when I've listened to things where people have done, they've been married forever and ever. A lot of times it comes down to picking your battles, forgiving. A lot of times it doesn't make sense. Sometimes you've just got to pick a point and you're going to move forward. And the problem with not forgiving, and then say this relationship goes down the drain, okay, the next people you meet, all right, so usually in life, what I have found is there's, this side of the story, that side of the story. And very often, I'm not saying it's always that way, but very often the truth is kind of somewhere in the middle, because this person is telling their perspective. This person is telling their perspective. And so they're both seeing it from their view. But very often, the truth is a little more in the middle. So, keep that in mind. But, the thing about the people you're with or your spouse, if you're married, this story, okay? You've lived it with them. The good, the bad, the ugly. And the thing about life is it's messy. One of the greatest takeaways from being an insurance agent, I got to meet a lot of people, got to get, fairly intimate with a lot of people as far as their inner workings of their household and families. And most people's life is messy, okay? Some of us are just more honest about it than others. And I'm not for the sweep it under the rug method. I mean, obviously, I have been at parts of my life because I didn't know how to deal with stuff. And once, that's not the correct method, okay? I think you should deal with stuff faster than later, okay? It's much better to deal with the problem in the beginning, okay? And look, even on bad stuff, honesty's best. It really is. And the problem with lies is you got to tell a lie to another lie and another lie. And before long, something innocent can get spun out into something you never intended it to be. And it's much better. Just lead with the truth, even if it hurts. At least you're at a point from there you can build up and go somewhere. And it's solid because it was on the truth. And if you read the Bible, it's full of messy stories. And I think God did that because, one, I think that's how we know it's true. Okay? Why in the world would they have some of the garbage that's in there? And when you get in there to the different stories, I'm not saying the Bible's garbage. I'm saying it's got some really crazy stories that you would just, curl your toes like, woo, but it's because life is messy and it's letting us know that. And I mean, look at King David in the Bible. I've always said he was one of my favorite characters in the Bible, but man, he screwed up a lot. But he also got it right a lot. It says the Bible is a man after God's own heart. And we're not perfect, okay? We're not. Forgiveness don't make sense. Sometimes you just got to do it. So it frees you. And I wish I would have had that book earlier in life. I wish somebody would have taught me how to forgive earlier. And I just didn't know how. And I really just did not know how. And yeah, if there was one thing you could learn early in life, man, learn how to forgive. Geez, I wish I would have had that. I wish I would have had that a long time ago. But moving on, keep God very important to your life. Keep it the focus. God needs to be the focus of your life. And if you've got that part right, everything else is going to be better. Over the last year, man, when I got a divorce from Dawn, I mean, I don't know when y'all see this, but this is May, what is it today? 19th, 2025. And, whatever happened, obviously. Not going there. I'm just saying, I thought I was 100% in March of last year. I thought I was ruined. And I really wrestled with it because I'm not good with a slow burn, okay? I can deal with good or bad. But I hate it when it's like, are you just fighting and struggling and you think, oh my gosh, is this going to happen? Is it not? Am I just delaying the inevitable? And, the truth is I may have gave up on some things here and there. And that's not right because, when you quit, you're not giving time for God to do what He's going to do. He tends to be a just-in-time God. I really, over this past year, I had a lot of problems. A lot of things happened. A lot of things went right. A lot of things went wrong. Every time, just in the nick of time. I mean, it wouldn't look possible. Stuff would break and I would think, oh man, this just can't be. And it was the first time in my life I could only see one day at a time. I've never been like that my whole life. I've always had plans and visions, and I'm always trying to orchestrate something in my mind, and I don't know how to turn my mind off. It's always thinking. But I got to just see, God worked it out time and time again, and it didn't look like there was a way. And don't get me wrong, I'm still in the middle of it at this point right here. But I, just had the shoulder surgery for the pec. And I really was not concerned about it at all. Because I thank God every day now for being my provider. I still try to squeal, okay? Even by myself, I want to make God happy at least once a day, Hopefully I make Him happier or better, more than that. But that's why I always did that. And I used to tell y'all that, let's at least make God happy once a day. And I mean, that's the least we could do. And anyway, God has been a staple of my life over this past year. And I've got to know God in ways that I never have before. And I mean, it's easy to say, oh yeah, I trust God. But it's way different when you're really just depending on God. And, our circumstances shouldn't matter because if God is our provider and we're doing our part, we don't have to see it. We're just trusting in God. And then we're knowing whatever happens, somehow God's going to work it out. And when we start getting that kind of faith, it keeps building and compounding. And I've definitely appreciated a lot more of the innocence of life. The world now, they're always like, it's trying to flip-flop everything. They're trying to present that, oh, Christianity and what's good is bad, or that's weird or strange, or you're whatever, okay? No, that's the devil trying to twist everything. The much better part of life is to live for God and to keep your life right and, to protect the innocence of stuff. I heard Jay Leno talk about why he tells clean jokes. And it was because a lot of dirty jokes you can't take and make them clean. But if you can tell clean jokes, then you could obviously make it more spicy. And I'm not saying that, but the way he went into it and explained it, it made a lot of sense. And there's a lot to just the purity of life. The things that the world say that are good, I mean, that's not usually the case. It's a very short-lived thrill. And that's why everybody is unhappy and miserable, and they don't have that quality, that inner feeling, that inner peace. I tell you, the forgiveness, wow, it's a so much better quality of life. And it took a long time for me to get to where I could be comfortable being alone. I mean, you got to think, most of my adult life, I've had y'all or wives. So I've never really been alone like this before. And I'm thankful for Trump. I mean, Lord, he's a good counterpart, even though he kind of gets aggravating sometimes. He's a great dog. Definitely. I've been fortunate with some good dogs, but he's on up there. He'd probably be my fave. And not taking anything away, my others were faves at those moments and times. But be good family men. It's going to be easy. Life's going to, there's going to be temptations come easy, okay? But when you're being married and you're doing everything, it's a commitment, okay? I've saw ugly people cheat. I've saw pretty people cheat. It's really just a commitment. You're making this commitment and you're moving forward with it, and it's going to mean something to you because it's your family. And it's much better. I'm jealous of these people that have been married 20 years because they know what it's like as you went through the different changes in life and the different struggles and the good times. And, you've built a life with somebody. I mean, there's so much more than this little moment of pleasure on the side or something that somebody's going for. Because now people are so flaky, they're just not sticking with people. It's like, oh, I'll just bounce over here or bounce over there. It's about doing life together and getting to know each other's families, the good, the bad, the ugly. But by far, learn how to forgive and keep God so important to your family. If God's first, then everything else is going to pan out. I tried hard. I wanted y'all to have a good life, and I tried to keep y'all entertained doing this and that. And, we always tended to have kids around, and I know y'all don't know the difference since y'all have always had me, but if you get out there and once you get to being a dad on your own, you realize life is always pulling you in all sorts of directions. And, you just have to figure out what's the best for you at that point in time. Just, keep your family, where it's at the center so you're not getting distracted. But I love y'all and I'm very grateful for y'all. I'm proud of y'all. I can't wait to see the men that y'all are growing up into being, and hopefully y'all have long marriages and grandkids and exciting adventures throughout your life. I'm sure life is gonna happen. Life always happens at the worst time. So as men, y'all are trying to protect your family from that, and you always kind of got to be expecting that. And just remember, they're looking at you and watching even when you're not expecting that they are. So try to make good choices. In ethics class, they taught us, if you're struggling, should I do this or should I do that? Imagine that this decision you're making on whatever it is, okay, it's on the front page of your hometown newspaper, and all of your family, your friends, all of your peers you grew up with, they're going to see it. It's on the front page of the paper. And so in that scenario, are you going to be proud and happy of the decision you've made? Or are you going to have regret? Because if it's regret, then you're probably not making the right decision. So it's a pretty good little litmus test. But I'm sure y'all are going to do good. Just learn from your mistakes. It don't mean you got to be perfect. Just try to learn from your mistakes. That was what the biggest thing I wanted y'all to learn growing up is, you know, it's okay to screw up. We all screw up. And I mean, I screw up. I still screw up every day. And something probably. You know, I can think personally, I screwed up yesterday. I was let down with myself. I was like, self, why did you do that? But, you know, God, I don't know, it's crazy. Why does he keep forgiving us? It don't make sense. And, you know, basically the whole thing with Christianity is God has the offer on the table. And he's offering. You know, it says Jesus at your door knocking or something about like that. And, you know, are you going to open the door and let him in? And, you know, when we accept Jesus Christ into our heart, he's taking the punishment for our shortfallings. Like, it's basically when we become Christians, it's like our sin and our wrongdoings, it's like it goes back in time and gets put on Jesus on the cross. And so just imagine you're over here doing something wrong, and yet this other person is taking all the punishment for you time and time again. Like, does that make sense? Like, somebody loved you so much, they're going to die for you. I mean, if you really give that thought, like, there's no greater love than to die for somebody. And it's like, plus it was God's only son. He loved us that much. He's willing to kill his only son for us. I mean, it don't make sense. And a lot of times forgiveness don't make sense. You just have to believe and trust. You know, you have to believe in God and trust him. And I don't know why he keeps forgiving us. I can't imagine. Because if you don't have Jesus Christ in your heart, then there's no amount of good deeds or being a good person. You can't work your way into heaven. Like, it's not even a path. It's not possible. And that's why I say, you know, I liked King David in the Bible because, I guess because I could relate, and in some regards, obviously I'm sure I don't make God as happy as King David did, but he screwed up a lot, did terrible things, but he also did a lot of good things. And the Bible said he's a man after God's own heart. And yeah, so hopefully, maybe y'all never get to see the video, but if you do, hopefully it's a long time from now. But I want y'all to know I loved you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm definitely proud I have good kids. Y'all both turned out really good. Life, it'll probably take you in lots of directions. I hope I get to see y'all grow up and see your families and grandkids, and hopefully we get to keep having a great life. But I love y'all, and if anything happens, you know, this can count as my last will and testament, that if y'all want to keep the stuff or sell it, I get it. It's not yours, no hard feelings. Y'all are free to do whatever you want to do. And y'all can just, you know, split it up evenly, and I'm good. So, you know, just remember, family's very important, and don't ever forget that. Nothing's worth cutting off family. I love y'all both immensely, and I'm proud of you. I love you. Bye-bye.